please welcome the incredible Dan Martell.
Thanks for having me, babes. I love being here.
2 L's in Martell. I love being in Bali too.
It's pretty.
I have some really cool questions to ask you. But first of all, we just celebrated a really cool thing in our family.
Yep.
We were, celebrated 4 years in Kelowna.
The biggest and best decision we've ever made as a family.
I think so.
Yeah.
Was moving across the country.
Across the country, away from our family, to a town where we didn't have any family because we felt called to be in that place.
We did. And we're crushing it. We love it. Kids love it. We have some incredible new friends and family. And we also just celebrated your birthday.
Yep. 45 years young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this summer, we're going to be celebrating our 10th wedding anniversary.
We sure are in a special country.
Yeah. And this is your 5th time on this show?
You tell me.
Yeah.
I feel like I talk with you every day though. So every day is a show.
I know. We probably should be recording more content together. So today, first of all, welcome. You love in Bali?
I'm loving traveling with you guys. I'm loving having the boys around. I'm loving having Sam and Rosie around to help and to create content and to coordinate things.
It's kind of the theme of this discussion and why I wanted to do this now is we just did our big annual quarterly couples retreat.
Yeah, in a horrible place.
Terrible place.
Terrible place. Nobody should go there.
Where were we and what did we do?
Where were we? We were in Byron Bay, Australia. Stayed at a beautiful boutique hotel, Basque House. Just absolutely fell in love this design of this place and just how functional it was. It's like 3 streets off the beach and just got time to hang and think and reflect and then build a plan for 2025. Made some big decisions.
We did. How long did it take us to do the whole thing?
3 days.
Yeah.
Now, we could have done it. I mean, we could do it in a day if you had to crank through it. But I also think 3 to 4 hours a day of focus work. Plus, we've been doing it for so long that even the drive, right? It was an hour and a half drive. We did our whole review part while we were driving, which was awesome. Took all our lessons learned, plugged those in. So
what is the structure of our annual retreat?
Well, you have an SOP that you should give to people.
I do, and it's free.
Yeah.
I'll put a link in the show notes.
Okay, in the show notes or message Renee on Instagram. But essentially, it's our couples retreat format. And the big idea is we just take what we do, the best practices in business, we just apply to our life.
Yeah.
So all we did was start with a review of the previous year and say, hey, let's go through the whole calendar from January 1st all the way till the end of the year and ask ourselves what felt great, what was mediocre, and what would we definitely not do again. And all the lessons learned about scheduling and too much on this month or not enough in that month or missing something or whatever. So we just took all those lessons learned, wrote them down, and then we used that once we figured out what our goals were for 2025 to plan the year and not make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this for 11 years, 12 years. So it's kind of every year we just get better and better and better and better.
I love it. And some big aha moments. And what I love about how we do this and why we do this is it allows us to build a lifestyle that we want. That actually leads into my really first question. What made us choose such a different path from the conventional lifestyle? Again,
I got to be careful because I can only speak from my perspective. It's not your perspective.
It's ours.
I know it's ours, but I'm just saying I know when I speak, I don't speak for Renee.
No, but this is you in the us in this relationship.
This is just what I learned a long time ago. Okay. And this idea I got from Ernest Nightingale. Is it Ernest Nightingale? Anyways, he said that we become what we think about most often. Think about that. We become what we think about most often. And once I realized that I didn't want to live a life based on what I thought other people were thinking about, because that's really why people have fears, is because they're worried about other people's judgment. And I realized I could create any life I wanted if I was willing to hold a thought in my head true long enough, meeting you is that.
How do you get out of those negative thoughts though? Because like for you growing up too, you were labeled certain things and we tend to become the identity of what somebody's labeled us. Those get in to our head. And now we have these stories that we ruminate about. And if you're not actually aware, then you end up creating that. That's what your life becomes.
Well, that's it. If you keep ruminating around the not enoughness, the insecurities, the judgment, then 100% that's what you're going to propagate. So that's what people don't understand, especially in a relationship. If they experience a family where there wasn't enough love, there was absenteeism, there was abuse, there was whatever, and they think about that, they don't realize it, but they'll just propagate that.
So how do you get out of those thought patterns though? Do you ever catch yourself in...
Every day, dozen times a day.
Okay, so how do you stop yourself?
Well, I mean, you've seen it several times on this trip where like I'll get in a mood and then I'll just have to like, I know it's funny because
let's talk about your moods, but continue on.
Yeah. But I know I'm not those thoughts and I'm just very aware. And then I get really curious and I go, why am I feeling this way? Because somebody else in this exact same circumstance could find themselves in complete bliss, but for whatever reason, I can't right now yet. And if I can change my beliefs about the situation, then it makes it easier. Most of the time I actually get in a mood is because I haven't eaten anything in a while and I'm just
100% of the time.
100% of the time.
Yeah.
So we fixed that right away, but then
throw him a bar.
Yeah.
Throw him a protein bar.
I need protein. And then for me, it's really about asking myself my primary question, which is how can I appreciate even more God's grace and guidance in this moment? I asked myself that question 5 times already today.
Okay, let's talk about these damn mopeds and driving in Bali. So
I think it's the funnest thing in the history of mankind, and you would be on the opposite end of that scale.
I hate it. I don't trust myself. Usually in these instances, I don't trust other people. I don't trust myself. The first day we got them, I was like, I need to go out and just test the moped situation before I throw a kid on the back. And they're like, I'm going to go with you. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, fuck. No, I don't.
Why didn't you tell me not to come?
Because then there's part of it that's like maybe for safety reasons or if something happens, it was great to have you there because you could guide me. But you got impatient. Turns out you did need to eat. However, the whole moment and then the next day I hated it because we went out for dinner that night and I had a kid on the back. And I was like trying to love it and I did not like a single moment of it. And I told myself, it's okay not to like this and it's okay not to want to do this. Meanwhile, you were just living your best life on these damn mopeds.
Yesterday we went out for almost an hour just with no direction. There was no place we had to go.
So I even told myself, I'm never even going to get on one.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm going to take a car everywhere I go. This morning, our security guard offered to drive me to Starbucks. And I was like,
oh,
okay. So this is my first time I was a passenger on the back with a guy who knows these streets very well.
Yeah.
It was still a little bit wobbly. I was like, oh, okay. So even if you're experienced, it's still a little wobbly. Cool. We were really close to hitting other things. I'm like, this is just normal in Bali. So when I asked you to come pick me up at Starbucks, I actually had this sense of relief to know what the experience is like with an expert. Jumped on the back and
to realize my husband's an expert.
You are massive and very easy to hold on to.
And guess what? I am very
You're nimble despite your size.
Oh yeah, and I attack the traffic like nobody's gonna not stop for me.
That's true. You're massive.
Yeah, like they're gonna be like, wow, this guy's no joke, 3 times the size. Most people here are very small, and if they want to collide with something, they should choose somebody else because I'm not moving.
The lesson in these stories, I was telling myself, I'm never getting on a moped. These are too dangerous. I'm scared. When the security guard offered to take me, I was like, okay, Renee, just do it. And it was that instant moment. I was like, it's like the worst case scenario is what we know. We can already know what the worst case scenario is. It wasn't that bad. And so, but you were singing the whole time. I don't even remember what song. You're singing and you're dancing and I'm like holding on for my dear life. But that's what I love about you is that you live full on.
I do.
And if it wasn't for you, I probably would be living in a 1-bedroom apartment.
You would.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
still I'd be okay.
You'd be very content and happy.
Yep. But you definitely push me way outside that comfort zone.
I mean, I think if you ask most of my friends, that's kind of what I do for everybody. And luckily I have friends that do that for me, that like are elevating and expanding. And when I talk to them, I'm just like in awe of the accomplishments. And that's why I think you should have people in your life. I mean, even in our retreat, when we were planning, you know, one of the things that we ask are, what are other couples we want to spend more time with in the coming year?
Yeah.
Right. And we're sitting there going back and forth. What about this couple? What about this couple? I don't know her. I don't know him. Da, 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 da. Okay, well, maybe we invite them out for a date night. How about we invite them to do like our family vacation in Hawaii or whatever it is? It's like being around other people that can expose us to bigger and better ways to do stuff, I think is kind of the pro move. Right. So like, if I do that for you, awesome. You do that for me, just in a different way. And it's part of our planning process to bring people into our lives to do that for us.
So going back to the question, and this is you speaking from your perspective, but why was this the path you choose versus the conventional lifestyle?
There's nothing in my life that is conventional. I don't believe in holidays. I don't believe in school years. I don't believe in anything that isn't first principle physics. Like the fact that it's raining, when it's raining, okay, it's raining. If it says it's going to rain tomorrow, I don't even believe in that. Like I choose to create my world.
I love the Weather Network.
I know. That's why I'm always fascinated by your need to predict and discuss weather that 50% of the time.
But here's what I learned being in Bali. Is every day. It's 100% rain and it's going to be 10 millimeters, and knock on wood, the last 2 days it's been sunshine.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I've been getting a ton of sun and it is what it is. I just think too many people live for other people's expectations on their life. I mean, simple things like, oh, I could never get it cleaner. What would my mom think? I'm not saying it's you, Renee. I'm just speaking from a lot of clients.
You can actually use me as an example.
But it's a lot of clients I coach. It's your part. Like there's nothing abnormal about that, right?
Even getting other people to watch our kids.
Oh, everything. It's even expressing your preference for how you want things. Yeah. Like you just came down. I don't even notice if you noticed it. You came down and you said, "Which side do you want me on?" To Sam.
Yeah.
But you know which side you want to be on.
I said, "Oh, this is my good side."
Exactly. So that is the side you should choose.
Yeah.
But you like express your preference, as in, I see, I would never ask that question, which side do you want me on? I say, can I sit on this side? See the difference?
Yeah.
So I just think it's interesting that most people design their life around expectations of other people and then get frustrated when the life they're living isn't the one they want.
They don't get what they want.
And it could be so much easier. There's this great Hindu word that I've been just fascinated by called Shanti. Have you ever heard of Shanti? Mm-hmm. Shanti is essentially the idea of stillness and quietness in the same thing. It's one of the words they use at the end of a prayer. And I just think like when you can move through life with that feeling of Shanti, of just the quietness and the stillness, where decisions don't feel heavy, when you're expressing your desire at the highest level, not from a place of ego, but from just a pure place of like bliss. And like, that's just your preference. Like, this is what I want to do. This is what my heart feels called to do. If you want to take your kids out of school, if you want to travel the world, if you want to change professions, if you want to change cities, you know, when we made that decision and we, you know, we both published it on social media and told everybody we made the decision to like leave the town I grew up in, leave the East Coast where we grew up in, to move to the West Coast, to essentially break our family tree. Because we were the first ones in our family to actually move away.
Yeah.
No, like raise family, like Max and Noah's lineage will be Kelowna. People, there was like two camps. There were certain family members in my life that called me selfish, because they said that's selfish of you to take the cousins away or the whatever away. Like that was a reaction. And then there was a lot of my friends that, you know, I know through social media, I hadn't seen in a while, but that we've been friends, that said, thank you for sharing your decision behind that, because now we've made the decision to move. We've made the decision to be closer to this, or we've made the decision to travel, or whatever it was. It's like sometimes our decisions inspire other people. And I just think like, I just don't want to, if I only had 5 years to live, and you know, we talk about this all the time, right? If I had 5 years to live, I don't want to have a regret. And I've been living that way for 15 years, these 5-year increments. So 5 years is enough time to do something magical with your life, and it's not enough time to be irresponsible and also put some sense of pressure to do something.
Why do we think and I say we, as in generally, probably a lot of the people in our lives do things to appease family?
They don't want to deal with, so the human psychology is not wanting to be kicked out of the tribe.
Yeah.
This is core, this is low level DNA. This is like tribal, communal.
That's why people stay in the same religion.
Yeah, you have to, because if you're ever kicked out of the tribe, essentially death. So your ego, back in the day, if you were kicked out of your tribe, you're going to go die. So like that part of us still believes that to be true. So we fight for the approval of the people closest to us so that they don't ostracize us, right? Kick us out. The crazy part is that if you actually go do it, you'll realize a few things. One, it's not that bad. Two, you'll be prouder of yourself. And three, you'll inspire those people.
Hopefully.
No, you 100% will. Every person in the quietness of their soul has a part of them that wishes that they would have went for the thing.
It's just one of the regrets of the dying.
They wish they would have become that dancer. They would have.
Number one.
Yes.
5 regrets of the dying.
I wish I would have went for the thing I always knew that I wanted to do.
Lived the life.
I lived that life. So to me, I know that when I live my truth, I show people where they've been telling themselves lies. And that's what I do. I make decisions that are hard and share those decisions, the thinking behind it, the hesitation, all that stuff, to then hopefully give other people permission to make that similar decision, because it's actually the thing their soul wants them to do. You don't desire things that you shouldn't acquire. Like if you desire something, you should go acquire. If you see something that's beautiful, it's actually it's spiritual. Why does a person walking down the street see a certain flower and go, wow, that's a beautiful flower, and somebody else walk by and go, I don't even think that flower is beautiful? It's because it resonates with their soul. And I actually think that the decisions that we've been putting off to make is actually against your spirit.
Oh. Like me selling my company.
Yep. You felt it. That was your decision. You had to do it.
Yeah. Even traveling. Like even ask me 2 years ago to do the trip that we just did. We were gone for a month, and every 2 or 3 days we're moving to a new location. Heck no.
No, I told you that the other day. I was like, I'm so proud of you. You're like, you've elevated. But here's the thing, Renee, you could have maybe done it mechanically. I think it would have ate you up emotionally.
Oh, it's still tough.
I know, but that's the big thing I notice, is that you're emotionally more capable.
Yeah. And we also, like water, we follow the path of least resistance. We do things that are comfortable for us because it's expected, it's known. And traveling with kids to Australia and then Bali and moving every couple of days is tough. It's a real test of our relationship. It's a real test of our parenting and our kids too. How did we, obviously we've argued on this. I
don't argue.
No, Dan does not ever.
No, you're too beautiful for me to argue with.
I'm sleeping downstairs.
I'm like looking at her. I'm just like, she is so
there was
beautiful.
The other day that you just needed food. I'm learning that too.
Yeah.
I love it because Sam, Dan's video guy, I hate calling you video guy.
He's my creative director, Sam's he's also my gym partner, third son. He's the big brother to Max and Noah.
And he walks around with protein bars, a Tide pen. What else?
For me. Yeah.
For you.
Yeah, we call him Walmart Ann, my assistant.
He should add a fork to that fanny pack. Sometimes you need that for your
Well, it's just because we don't have the right protein bars, I don't get the right macros. That's been the issue on this trip.
Yeah.
I brought a box and it was definitely not enough of my Quest bars.
No, that's okay. Anyway, learning about that. So in terms of couples and successful couples, maybe us and people you admire, do you think that couples need structure to actually have a great relationship?
Not only do they require structure, people that say they have no issues and life is easygoing, I don't believe that.
It's a lie.
It's a fucking lie. They're lying to themselves. They're not, they 100% aren't creating anything meaningful. They're accepting each other's lowest version of them. Like, I want you to hold me to a higher standard. I want you to have high expectations for me as a husband. I want you to ask me to provide safety, comfort, option for our family. Like I want you to be like, hey, Dan, if something happens to Max or Noah and we need to spend some real money to fly them privately to go get a treatment, I don't want that to be an issue. I want that from you. So see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that the couples that I admire are people that are creating in the world, and they have to have structure, because without structure, there's just too much rework. You know what I mean? Like without a process for planning lives, integrating lives, having a rhythm of success, you're essentially like, you're just going to then have to fix things that you didn't have to fix. Like think about our weekly meetings. We do a weekly meeting, every week is this weekly. And we talk about kind of our weekends and our goals and the financial. I teach you what I'm doing on the financial side. And if we didn't do that, it would then create conflict. Mm-hmm. It still does sometimes, because it's like, you're like, I didn't know this. It's like, okay, well, let's figure out the process. But that to me is required. It's just like, I was telling the story this morning to a friend about that time I decided to host that big dinner in Moncton. I remember I paced in the sunroom, cold calling people, and you were kind of pissed off at me because you're like, hey, you're supposed to be like with us and the family. And here I am pacing back and forth in the sunroom. And what I learned from that experience that I tried not to redo was that I don't make big life decisions can affect my calendar without talking to you about it first.
Mm-hmm. Like hosting 100 people at our house?
Hosting 100 people at our house, being gone for a week that you didn't expect, making any decision from a business point of view that might take me away from being home for dinner. Like just essentially commitments I've made to you. If it's going to break one of those commitments and we know what those are, I have that conversation. I call it commitment to others. And I think that was something that you taught me, but I've used that in all aspects of my life.
Yay. Okay. So we're traveling now. What's your perspective on travel as parents, as a couple? And do you think it actually strengthens relationships?
100%. I think what happens in relationships, some people do the long distance. The problem with long distance, and we did for a bit. Yeah. How long we do long distance for? 3 months?
No, like 9.
Is it that long? I don't think so.
June, July, August, September, October, November. Yeah.
Oh, it felt like it was a few months.
Yeah.
What it does, if you do long distance, what happens is that you don't actually live with the person. So you're not dealing with conflict. Okay. Like most people that get into a routine in their home, go to the gym, go to work, come home for dinner, watch TV, go to bed. And that's the rhythm. When you go and travel the world, especially with your kids and your family, all of a sudden it's this collision of this happened at the airport and this is missing. We got to deal with this. And where's the car and blah, blah, blah. And like, who's got the code? And I mean, it just forces you to confront yourself. Cause like when there's things going on between us, I know it's not you. Like I've told you this, but you're not the issue. The issue is my response to the situation. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's the coolest thing in the world to get to a place where nobody has to change for you to win. Nobody has to change. You don't have to change. Circumstances doesn't have to change. Nothing in my life has to change for me to win, which means I got to figure out how to get good with what just happened. And travel creates that situation times 1,000.
It also makes you surrounded by these people 24/7. Because when you're at home, it's like school, work, you're going to the studio, and the kids have soccer or something. So they're gone, they're coming and going. But when you travel, you're forced to be together for this time. So it's a real test of that. So I'd say travel is one of the best tests of friendships, of relationships, of parenting, because it shows you where you're not free. Because there are some circumstances where you won't get upset by something and I will. What's the difference, right? It's my reaction to the situation. But oftentimes it's just like that constant grind of like the one thing, like the boys bickering. It's fine in small doses, but when it's constant, it makes me go crazy.
Oh man, they're crazy though. Sometimes it's like, can you guys just stop talking to each other?
Yeah. They're always fighting.
Well, they're not always fighting, but when they do, it's so silly.
It's so funny. We were at the monkey forest last week, and there were 2 littler monkeys walking down the steps. There's like one smaller monkey that was like 3 steps ahead of the other monkey. And Max and Noah were kind of walking up the stairs looking at them. And all of a sudden the bigger monkey comes down, rushing behind it, smacks the monkey as fast and hard as he could, and then runs off. Max looks at me and he goes, "Hey, that's like Noah and I." I'm like, so happy you have this awareness. You guys are a bunch of monkeys. What else that travel has done to strengthen our marriage?
Well, I mean, the other thing is we're going to the gym together, which we don't really work out together in Kelowna. So, I mean, I like having you around.
It's fun.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just something about like when they've always said when people go to war together, they just build a stronger bond. And it's like, we used to do CrossFit together a lot. And then I started doing more Ironman stuff and bodybuilding. But like having you around, I think that's really cool. Having that alone time. It's like mini dates throughout the day, no kids, right? Go for a smoothie after. That's super fun. I'm glad to see you're back on the scooter. That was really cool. Hopefully that trend keeps up.
Don't think I'll be driving.
You don't have to drive. We told you from the beginning you shouldn't drive.
I like holding on to you. You can hold on to your boobs, your muscles, your pecs.
Yeah. Like I think you should have been on the back the whole time anyway.
Yeah,
so
it's fun. My perspective is, I think for you, the travel has really taught you what really goes into parenting. Because there was a while when we weren't really doing this. And I think you got a firsthand account of how much work was involved in like packing the kids, getting them ready, being full on with them. Because when they were younger, you were traveling a lot.
Yeah, but I also don't do all the stuff you do for them.
No, you don't. But I think
I do appreciate how much you do.
Now you see it.
Yes. I still would encourage you to consider doing less.
I have been.
Oh, you have been. I know, but I'm just like.
I will say something that was really hard for me today, but I was proud that I did it.
What's that?
Realizing that we are doing this recording at lunchtime and the boys had needed to eat. And I remember saying to myself, we'll get back from the gym, I'll make them lunch, and then we can record. Then I was like, Rosie, could you order them some food? And I was so proud of myself for saying, I don't have to do this. She's actually here to help us. And she's like, yeah, no problem.
What a crazy idea.
What a crazy idea.
Yeah.
I know. And it's like, it's just the asking for help. This goes back to this feeling of unworthy.
I know that people need to understand is holding them back from living a bigger life.
Oh yeah. A lot of people.
Including Dan, including me. Before my book came out, I never asked anybody for help.
What?
Renee, you've never seen me before that book came out, and I literally messaged every person that had an audience, that had a community, that had an email list, to please send an email to your list about the book, because I put my heart into it, to pre-buy hundreds of copies, 500 copies, have me speak at your event, buy everybody a copy, let me do this virtual thing. Like, I asked for favors, finally, 20 years.
Now you ask for help all the time.
All the time. I realized that in asking for help, you're allowing other people to receive, like, too often, if you're always the giver and you never ask for anything, then there's just like unpaid debt. So in many ways, I was allowing other people to kind of reciprocate the energy that they receive from me over the years. Cause like, I just went my whole life and said, I'm just going to keep giving. I'll never have to ask for anything. And it turns out it's slower, it's harder. And it was a reflection of my self-worth, because I didn't want to feel the rejection.
Oh.
Well, it's 100%.
It was the rejection.
It was the fear of rejection.
Did you ever feel like you would have to owe somebody something?
Not necessarily, because those relationships I've kind of kept out of my life. The people that I know are very tit for tat.
That's a good point.
Yeah. The affiliate people, like there's a lot of people that do this whole like affiliate circle jerk, I call it, where it's like, you promote me, I'll promote you. It's like, what the fuck? You guys are just transferring money between your accounts. It makes no sense to me. But so those people I didn't ask for favors for, because I knew they would. But no, it was really just, I don't want to put myself in a situation where somebody can say no. And
then they started to say no.
No, some people said no, but most of the people said yes.
But the people that said no, how did you get through that? How did you get past that?
I wrote their name down and I said someday. No, just kidding. I'm kidding. I said, someday you will
Someday.
pay.
Come
You
back
have
to
no
John
idea.
Smith.
You have no idea.
I can't wait for you to ask me for something.
Oh,
I'm
I've
gonna
got
be
a
like,
no.
No.
I got a highlighted no and a big sign and a smoke signal in the sky. No, I just realized that like not everything is for everybody at this moment. It's that simple. Not everything is for everybody at this moment. If I ask for something, it's not the right fit for them. It's totally cool. I love when people go like, hey, Dan, I know you charge a lot for your speaking. I've got this event. Love to have you there. Don't have a budget. No pressure if you can't.
Yeah.
I love that. They at least asked.
Yeah.
Most of the time it is no. Yeah. But
sometimes it's yes.
Hey, Cody Sanchez, we're speaking at her thing in March.
It's amazing.
She asked, and I was like, I want to do that. Yeah. We're also on our way to BVI's during that time. So we just...
Oh, that's right. We're stopping.
Yeah, we're just going to stop, do the talk, and then continue on to Puerto Rico and then to the BVI's.
Amazing. I love that. Old Renee would not have wanted to do that.
I know. I think, and did I ask you before I made that decision?
Quasi.
How did I not ask?
Because I already had the conversation with Anne.
Well, I know, but I asked her to ask you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't say yes to Cody before I asked you.
Gotcha.
That's where I used to get myself in trouble in the past.
Mm-hmm. And where
Anne's my executive assistant for those listening, because some people may not know who Anne is. Yeah,
Anne's the best. But old me would not have wanted to do this, but now I forgot my train of thought just because we're just talking about how amazing Anne is. It's okay. We'll come back to that. Another question. Okay. How do you think traveling together has shaped our kids' worldview? And let's talk about like schooling on this perspective too.
Well, I think for me, school, every kid is homeschooled. It's whether the parents realize it or not. And most parents spend more time figuring out what vacation they're going to go on than what school their kids go to. So I think that school is a decision by the parents to put their kids in environments where they're going to learn. Mm-hmm. So I'm more interested in world schooling.
Yeah.
Like the other night when Max didn't want to eat the ramen, what did he do instead?
He asked for money to go get something else.
Yeah, he wanted a hot dog. And he used my phone to find a hot dog place.
Hot dog.
Yeah. Turned out he said it was a sausage, not a hot dog. But it didn't matter. He said it was delicious. But he went by himself at 12 years old, walked down the road, around the corner in the center of Bali in Ubud.
Fair that we gave him a phone so that we could connect with him.
We did. But it's a better story if we tell people he just went solo and we said we'll figure it out later. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But and I also did go to him how many times during that meal? 5 times. I checked in on so many times.
The rupiah to Canadian dollars.
Oh, it was I was like laughing at myself that I should have just went with him in the first place, but I didn't. And he ended up learning a lot.
Can you imagine though? And I'm not shaming anybody. There are
Shame them.
Friends of ours that have kids the same age that would have been terrified to do that. They're like, no, I can't. I need somebody to come with me.
Yeah.
Kids would have been.
Oh, you're saying that
the kids
we know people that have kids and the kids would have never gone by themselves.
No, because this gives our kids the confidence to be able to go and
totally. Do that. And just the way like they always order their meals at like dinners, and they always know that there's like a process. They do their homework at 6 a.m. before they do anything else. Yeah. They, if they were allowed, I mean, they'd be jumping on those scooters for sure.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, Max is like sad. Sure. Yeah.
One thing that I loved about traveling with kids is it teaches them the different cultures, and they love it. It's fascinating to them. It's also very humbling. It teaches them to sleep in different environments because they can go to sleep literally anywhere.
I will tell you, that's the thing that's actually impressed me the most is because we change places every 3 days and every room set up. One could be downstairs, upstairs, lights, no lights, curtains, no, like that watching them go to bed at night, because I put them in bed at night every night, and they're just like, they just go to bed.
They just go to bed.
It's bananas.
Yep.
It's kind of crazy.
I know.
Like, it's like a cheat code.
I feel like they sleep better than me.
Yeah, well, you don't sleep the best.
Actually, I got a 93 sleep score last night. Just because I had to go to bed really early. Anyway, how we can throw them in different vehicles and grow down these windy roads. There's different foods. We didn't speak too much about what to expect in Australia or Bali. We just showed up and they're like, oh, okay. And we just gave them a couple warnings about the water and that was it. And they just heads down, go, do their thing.
No, I've been so impressed with how they've adapted. And then also just like allowing them to take risks in a safe way.
Like jumping off roofs into pools.
Exactly. Like
against my advice.
I get it, but there was several adults around and we all kind of agreed that
it was friends of our homes and other kids have done it. So it wasn't.
And they've done it. So it's like, it's not that crazy. It scared them. It's quite high, but it's just, and then swimming across the channel.
That's right. And getting stung by jellyfish.
Yeah. Like they've taken risk.
But you know what's cool about that?
Oh no. The other day I could also say, I'm having breakfast with them across the street from our villa and they wanted to go home. And cause I had to wait for the food. I said, you ask the security guard to walk you home and I'll let you. And they went up to this guy, asked him and he walked them home. Like it's kind of awesome.
So the jellyfish thing, they were swimming across this little channel outside of our friend's house in Australia and they got stung by jellyfish and it's quite painful. So they come back, which is also probably like a 5-minute walk back to the house. And they sit down, they're showing me these like whip burns. And I was like, oh, there goes them swimming in the ocean. The next day they were jumping off the boat.
Zero part of that experience stopped that.
Nope, nothing. We're back at it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I wouldn't be so bold.
Yeah. I just think that it's exposure therapy at scale.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Most people don't have enough reps of doing hard things or scary things or feeling uncomfortable or sleeping in the amount of beds. I mean, think about this. They've slept in more different beds in the 5-week trip that we just did than most kids would in a whole year.
Or a lifetime.
Or, I mean, maybe a lifetime, at least their childhood.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So that's pretty crazy in regards to just the reps.
Okay. So we talk about being together, working out together. I love working out with you.
Why?
Well, I like to check you out when you're working out.
Perv.
Like today I shot a video. I just like you being there. I just like, and it's like you're in your zone and you're with your buddies and it's inspiring and it actually forces me to push a little bit harder. I actually also do love watching other women check you out and then you walking up to me and giving me a big kiss. It's really cool. But let's talk about launches and landings. We're not perfect at this yet, but it was one of the best pieces of marriage advice that we ever got.
Who's not perfect at it? Because I'm pretty amazing at it.
You are really good.
Yes.
I'm sometimes moody and I don't. So anyways, what is a launch and a landing?
A launch and a landing in a relationship is the idea of when you're leaving the home or you're coming back, you should let the other person know and make it a thing. So like if you're leaving, be like slow down and go find the person and be like, babes, I'm leaving.
Big kiss.
A big hug, hold the hug, kiss. Like I'm going to miss you. Yeah. And then I go off and I do the thing and then I come back. And then the landing is when I come back to like make it like I ran home to see you. Like, hey, I'm back, like, oh my gosh, what have you been up to? Tell me all about it. And like, okay, now that I say that out loud, maybe I'm not the best at that yet. But I know that it matters to you because I would just go. Like I would just literally get up and just go. I'm like, whether I'm in the house, I know I work from home sometimes, but like whether I'm here or gone, like, why do I need to? And I mean, it is sometimes a pain in the ass. Like I'm like, I got to go find you. Are you even in the home? I got to check if your car's in the garage.
No.
Car's in the garage.
You can use Find My on your phone and know where I'm
not going to do that. And then it's like, I run upstairs and then you're in the bathroom and you're like, hey, don't come in. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to just say goodbye.
Babe, I'm leaving. It's cute. I like the little effort. The launches and landings, it might not work for every couple. Maybe not every couple wants to do it, but let me tell you, try it. Because just the, hey babe, I'm leaving, kiss, butt slap, if that's what it is. Even doing it with your kids. And it takes 2 seconds.
Yeah, I don't let my kids leave in the morning without a kiss.
No.
Yeah, even if it slows you down.
It's like I'm acknowledging that I'm leaving. I'm acknowledging that I'm home and I'm here. And it doesn't mean you have to hang out for an hour.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, kiss, Kate, I'm actually going to the gym now. I'm like, that's cool, peace. What do you love the most about that?
I mean, when I think of my whole life, the thing that I want to, I do it with the boys every time they wake up. Every morning they come find me and I grab them, I squeeze them, and I don't let go until they are like, okay, I want to go now. And I don't know. I think I love the presence of it. Like I love slowing everything down. Nothing else is important. Like Everything else has to get done. There's priorities, but nothing else is more important than that moment for me.
Do you think that the boys and I slow you down in a good way?
I think the boys don't, you do. Yeah, the boys don't.
Sometimes you're like, Renee, you're the only person that slows me down.
No, you don't, because I tell people they make me walk all the time. You're slowing me down, though, is a good one.
Okay.
Like, you're the only one that can slow me down, and I'm like, appreciate it.
There are some times it's not.
No, obviously, but a lot of other people, I tell them to don't make me walk. I want to run.
Explain that, because I feel like there's some people that look to us thinking, how do you guys do that? And Renee, I get this question all the time. How do you keep up? Like, I'm supposed to be keeping up.
You don't have, I mean, I don't need you to keep up either.
And I don't think that's the question they're really trying to ask.
What are they asking?
Well, I feel like they want to know how I'm evolving individually to evolve as a couple. Because there's no way that you could be where you are and us still be together if I wasn't doing my own work.
I mean, I would hope that I could find a way to do that. Definitely I wouldn't be where I'm at because it would have created too much emotional conflict. But and when you say you wouldn't be where you are, I would not be in Bali right now. Like there's a part of my life that is 100% predicated on Renee's willingness to participate in life. Whether you decide to evolve where we can take our kids out of school, travel the world, decide to prioritize travel over, your business or whatever, you sell the business to go do something different to create the space for yourself. I don't know. It's just, but I don't need anybody to change for me to win. It just would have made it harder. But I've told people that, like, your decision on who you decide to marry is the most important decision you can make in your life.
Yeah. And what's crazy is like,
but I also don't want people to blame their partner for their shittiness.
They can't.
Oh, and they do all the time.
The question that I know you get this all the time, I get it too, is how do you get your wife to work out with you? Like, she hasn't worked out. Or how do you get your husband to like do that? How have we done this? What is it about us that is so unique?
I think there is a desire on both parts to want to be better.
Yeah.
But that's who you were when I met you.
It's true.
So that, you got to have better pickers.
So those breadcrumbs were always there.
100%.
And you come back to those breadcrumbs to know, like, she was that person.
Yeah.
So if you look at like a relationship where those breadcrumbs were there and that person's kind of veered off course, how do you help them come back to that?
I think it's always being an example. Like, I never told you to go to the gym or do 75 hard or anything. I just did it.
You did it.
Yeah. I just, like you said, you like coming to the gym, watching me work out because I fucking push it. I go in the pain cave. It hurts. And you're like, oh, maybe I should do an extra set. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Gee, I don't know. I don't know what goes in your mind. I know that we have the ability through osmosis to affect people around us, right? My eating clean, I'm assuming, affects you.
And I do not eat nearly as clean as you do.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if I didn't, it would affect you the other way.
Probably.
Yeah. If we were always carpe diem, what restaurant do we go for lunch? We'll go to a restaurant, we go for dinner. Hey, let's stop and get some chocolates. But
also, it's a reflection of how physically good we feel now living this lifestyle.
The best.
And good sleeps at night.
The best. Mm-hmm. Even the Oura ring, right? Like, I got an Oura ring and then you're like, I want one. And then you got one and you check your sleep score every night.
All the time.
So it's like, I think people that go, well, how do I get my wife to do that? Just go be the best version of you. Like, go change, go grow, go expand. And guess what? My gut tells me, like, if it was the roles were reversed, I'm not saying us, I'm saying, like, in a relationship, if I was the man and the wife was like, hired a business coach and all of a sudden did 2 million in revenue. And I'm trying to like leave my job to go start my company. And I've been talking about it for years. And my wife did it and is doing 2 million in revenue and decides to get in the most fucking epic shape ever. Holy moly. I'm feeling pretty insecure about myself. I'm looking at that woman going, okay, she's taken some quantum leaps.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully she doesn't make me feel bad about it. And she just creates a space that says, hey, is there anything I can do to support you? And I go, yeah. Is it cool if I quit my job and start my business and you essentially support that? And she would go, yeah, for sure. Let's do that.
Sometimes it's like the gentle nudges.
Yeah. I think it's just asking the person, do you want my help? Mm-hmm. Like, how often do I go, do you want advice or do you just want me to listen? You're just like, shut up and listen. I'm like,
you just die to give me advice every single time.
I hate giving you advice.
I love it. Even when we were driving the mopeds the other day, how you're like, can I give you advice? I'm like, yes, Dan. And you're like, are you always driving with your hand on the brake? You should. And I was like, yes, Dan, I'm doing this.
I don't have to tell you. It's just you're going to rear end somebody.
No, but I was. Anyway, I love this. So the gentle nudges too come in the form of, hey, babe, I'm going to the gym. Do you want to come?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not saying, I think you're overweight and you're unhealthy, but it's like, I've been going to the gym and I would love it if you joined me.
Yeah. And if you ever got sloppy, I would say something.
Yeah.
And I ask you to do the same for me.
Uh-huh.
Which I don't think you would, but I'm telling you should.
I think I would. When I look back at the old pictures of Dan.
I know, but I know, but I was that guy and you just accepted it.
Yeah, but also it's like I didn't even.
I know that. I know.
The craziest thing is
you didn't notice. I know. That's what's crazy.
Because I didn't know this is what you could look like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't changed all that much.
No, you're pretty much Renee.
I'm trying.
You do.
But
I'm just saying, like, I think sometimes I've seen in a relationship where somebody just like lets go, puts on 15, 20 pounds, and the other person never says anything. And I don't think that's right either. I think they should just communicate. It's like, hey, when we got married, there was a certain level of fitness and you took care of yourself. And it's a health thing. It's not, and this is the work I've done, which is not to make you wrong for your decisions, but just express my preferences. Like, I have a preference to live a certain life. Mm-hmm. And it involves making good decisions for our health. And some of the decisions you've been making are not aligned with that. That's a preference. That's not making you wrong for it.
Oh man, it's so tough, especially the conversation about women and gaining weight. Like, I think there's a grace period around childbirth that
for sure.
We don't actually give women the permission to rest. It's the most important thing for women after having baby.
But how many years after?
Oh, I'm talking months.
Yeah, exactly. I met a woman the other day. She's like, I had a bunch of kids. I'm like, how long ago? 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
It is. And here's the thing is you can still work out when you're pregnant. Anyway, beside the point is that is such a tough thing for a man to say to a woman. I feel like it's easier for a woman to be like, hey babe, I've noticed you kind of maybe put on a couple pounds. You can't really say that to a woman.
You're saying it's easier for a woman to say that to her husband?
Yes.
Yes. What's crazy is I love people too much that I have no problem saying it.
Yeah, that's you.
I know.
And people know you for that.
Yeah, some of your friends, I've said that too.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, like, how would I even say that to one of my girlfriends? Like,
you know the text message with Jackie Service?
Oh my God, I love Jackie.
Yeah, wait till you see her in March.
Oh, I can't wait. I see it
crazy.
In her face
you see her
already.
dimples?
I see it in her face already on social media.
Anyway, we did a podcast on her podcast and we talked about it because I knew what was possible for her. And I was so scared to send her that message because, like, who am I, another man, letting her know, hey, I think if you took care of that part of your life, you would thrive in every other area of your life. And it's the thing holding you back.
That's the craziest thing. The foundation to a successful life.
You just don't have the energy.
That's it.
Like people are like, how do you do what you do? I'm like, well, I don't do a bunch of shit that you do. Like, you see me, I get up, is that today? I don't even know was it today I did those podcast? Yeah, I did those coaching calls today. I mean, like, I don't even remember when I do stuff.
You woke up, you did 2 coaching calls, went to the gym, came back, and now we're doing this.
Yes, and then we got a whole afternoon in Bali, and we're going to go New Year's Eve. Yeah, it's New Year's Day. It's just like, you could not have the energy to do this if you did not have your health dialed in. And that's where, like, people that I know have the capacity to actually help a lot of people, like a Jackie, I just have to share that truth. And there's a lot of guys and ladies that are in my program, and I know your next level, Taki Moore is one of them. Right now, literally, I texted him. I was at the gym. I was texting with him. Enough's enough. You know what he decided his stakes are if he doesn't hit his goal? What? The downside, he has to do his next workshop, his whole seminar, 2-day seminar with his clothes off.
Completely naked?
No.
With a
Sounds better if you say it
budgie
that way.
smuggler on.
Yeah, with a budgie, not even, just a shirt off. I was trying to get him to do it within a budgie smuggler.
Oh, I love Taki. Here's what I'm learning in all of this is, for me, like the foundation of an incredible life is a great night's sleep. And there are so many things that you need to do to get a great night's sleep. And we all knows what those are. So you get moody when you don't eat. I get moody when I don't get a good night's sleep.
Exactly.
So it's like, you're always like, protect Renee's sleep. That's
And tonight,
it.
you're not going to have a great sleep.
I'm going to have an amazing sleep.
How do you figure?
So I didn't buy a 3-day pass at the gym knowing I probably won't be going tomorrow.
Okay. As long as you sleep in.
Yeah, well, we'll figure something out. Anyway, but it's true. It's like tomorrow I'm probably going to be tired. Who knows? Or not. But anyways, I think when you know that of each other too, it's really important, that awareness. Like even the last couple nights is this place that we have is gigantic, that Dan and I have our own bedrooms. Last night especially, you're like, hey babe, I want you to have a good night's sleep because you constantly wake up at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to go to the bathroom.
Because I'm 45 years old.
Wakes me up. But anyways, you know this and you're like, you have a good night's sleep. And I was
You
like,
didn't
but
want
I
me to
want you to
leave.
sleep.
You didn't
And
want me
you're
to
like,
leave.
nope.
You didn't want me to leave.
93 sleep score.
I know.
And I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
I knew you
Like, the
needed to
best
be ready
thing-
for tonight because tonight we're going off.
Best thing ever is a good night's sleep. And then just feed Dan snacks.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to this? Travel, marriage, parenting kids?
I mean, I could give like a synopsis of it all.
Give
so
it.
first off, I've held this belief of wanting to do this trip for years. Like I'm talking about 10 years. 10 years I've been wanting to travel with the kids.
This exact trip?
Yes.
Okay.
Like the travel period with the kids. Like not like it was always a negotiation. Like we can go to San Diego for a few months, like one spot. I don't want to go in and out of hotels or Airbnbs or whatever. You're just like,
Yeah.
I don't like that. And I was like, oh, there's all these things I want to do. So I just kept held in that belief, kept bringing it up, kept testing it, trying it, different elements of it, vacations here for 2 weeks, change this, do that, have you come with me, have support there with us, people travel with us now. And you know this, even like grabbing the kids and taking them out of school, like long time, I've wanted to not do that. Like for 4 or 5 years, meaningfully trying what needs to be true. How do we do this? And I just kept creating the scenario where you had the support, where you learned how to work with the people, where you got to a place where you feel comfortable, where we're testing this out. And then in Byron Bay, we made the big decision. We're taking the kids out of school. And see, I'm telling everybody so she can't go back on the decision.
I can tell you, I can backpedal for sure.
You could backpedal.
100%.
Anyways, starting next school year, the kids are out of school. We're going to travel.
Yeah.
We're going to show them the world. We're going to go live in the world. We're going to go be of the world. And we're going to go have some fun.
So I alluded to this on Instagram, and people are like, well, what is it that you're doing? And I told a handful of people that we decided to world school our kids next September. Every single person said, that's the dream.
That is
wish-
the dream. This is what's crazy is we have the means to do it and we're not doing it.
Yeah.
Like that's my whole life has been a process of getting to a place where buy back your time was literally to have CEOs run my company so I can travel the world.
So the hard thing for me was that I didn't know of anybody that created that lifestyle in the way that would have been a 10 out of 10 for me. So it was like, oh, no one else has done it before, so then I can't do it. Because it obviously, maybe people have tried and they've failed. But now I'm realizing that sure, people have done it, and we get to do it in our own way. You're
Totally.
like, Renee, what would make it a 10 out of 10 for you to want to travel the world with the kids? And I was like, this. And he's like, he. Like, there you go.
You, he? Is that who I am?
You're a you, he.
The man, Dan.
So we're going to make it happen.
Yeah. So, I think people that have a vision for their life, and even if their life doesn't look that way today, should hold it true. And then keep asking themselves, who do I need to become? Who did Dan need to become? Because a big reason you didn't want to do it is because you didn't want to be with the old version of Dan that stresses you out when we travel.
No.
Because I was shitty. And I get that. So I've gotten better. Still tons of opportunities for me.
I'm going to have a fanny pack of protein bars and Tide pens.
Yeah.
And I'll be good.
Get yeah. So it's your kids are way more resilient than you give them credit for.
Yeah.
Like kids can
And capable too.
capable, so capable.
Kids are so capable.
Yeah.
This is all conditioning too, and especially Western society, the helicopter parents really started to be overbearing in the sense that some people expect that they have to raise their kids a certain way because it's what society expects. And the things that we've done goes against so many
Oh, totally.
parents. And you know what? Even them, they're probably doing things the way that they were taught to do, thinking that's the only way to do it. But I dare people to go against the grain.
Totally.
Try something different.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen?
You learn.
You'll learn and you go back to the way you were living.
That was how I got you on board with the homeschool. I'm like, worst case after semester, put the kids back in school.
That's it. We
Call
made
it a
that.
lesson
So
learned.
September is the start of the school year.
Yeah.
And I said, how long till no, what was the question you asked me?
I said, I don't know what needs to be true.
Yeah. And I said, but what happens if I don't like it? You're like,
Yeah.
it's
So,
fine,
okay,
start.
in December, but we're not. We're going to get a full-time educator. We're going to travel. Kids are going to be super happy. You're going to be super happy. And guess what? I might realize I don't want to do it.
That's true. I never even thought about that.
I might get to the point and go, I don't actually like this. Cause I mean,
I want a break.
yeah, this whole crazy experience. I mean, there's certain things that I was like, oh wow, I don't like this at all.
We needed to live this experience to make the next one a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. And all I trust is in our ability to solve any problem that might come up.
And we can do it.
We've done it this whole time.
Yeah. It's crazy. Okay. Any last final thoughts?
Yeah. Stop blaming your partner for not living your life. Stop blaming your partner. It's your fault. Own it. Make decisions, make better, consistent decisions. Show up at 100% and stop blaming other people. Like, I'm so sick of it. It's like, oh, my partner doesn't support me. My partner's not on board. Da, 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 da. It's like, what are you talking about?
Just do it.
Just go do it. Like, don't be irresponsible. Don't take your life savings. Like, I mean, if it's her money too or his money, like, don't do that. But at the end of the day, if you know, you can watch TV or you can work on your side hustle, go work on your side hustle. Nobody has to give you that permission.
I love it.
Cool.
Dan the man with the plan. Thank you so much again.
I love you.
Love you too.